Hello everyone, my name is Narciso Padarenga and welcome to my channel, Did You Know by Branch EVP. Today I want to talk about Ed Fletcher, the current president of Branch 1111. Ed was hired as a city letter carrier in the Oakland post office and then transferred to the Union City post office in 1985. Dang, that's 40 years ago. 3 years after being hired, he became a shop steward and represented letter carriers in the Union City Post Office for 12 years until he was brought up to become the DRT member for the NALC. He was at the DRT from 2000 to 2001 until the branch needed him to serve as a full-time officer. From that time, he served as a fourth vice president, a third vice president, as a second vice president, and the first vice president, as well as an executive vice president of Branch 1111. In 2015, he was elected as the president of Branch 1111, and he has been in that position for 10 years. Ed has attended numerous trainings from national, from state, as well as trainings held by the NBA's office. He also received OWCP training for which he was certified by the San Francisco Department of Labor. In his 37 years of representing letter carriers, he has filed and resolved tens of thousands of grievances, which includes grievances against management for their unprofessional conduct. In fact, in 2008, he was successful in permanently removing supervisor from his duties in the entire Pacific area. He has also won cases where the supervisors were barred from supervising carriers for 2 years. And the list goes on and on. Article 8, Articles 15, 17, and 31 grievances, Articles 13, 19, which are OWCP and limited and light duty cases, not providing job offers, not paying continuation of pay, you name it, he's probably filed it. No doubt about that. In the past couple of months, we've had these post offices who conducted route inspections in their offices. So he's spearheading, all those grievances for route inspections, not only from his stations or his offices, but also the other full-time officers who are new. And that's part of the training that he provides our new officers here at the branch office. These route inspection grievances, man, they are time-consuming. And, we file individual grievance for each individual route. So think about that. How many routes are there in each one of these post offices? Therefore, how many grievances and how much time does he spend, to process these grievances? One of the biggest issues we're running into right now is the back pay issue, where management takes forever to process the back pay because of Egan. And just recently, he was able to resolve these types of grievances with an additional $1,000 settlement paid to the carrier. Oh, and I forgot to mention discipline cases, notice of removal, suspensions for attendance, 16-7s when they place you in emergency placement without pay. I've observed Ed, as a president for these last 10 years. And I gotta say, it's not an easy job. Everyone at the branch office goes to him, if they have questions, including me. Ed, just like his predecessors, such as Robert and Jerry, that is Robert Rudder and Jerry DePaul. They cared about the branch. They care about the members, overflowing with information. I was fortunate to have worked, although briefly, with the late Robert Rudder, as well as the former branch president, Jerry DePaul. Both of them were great presidents, respected by all carriers and respected by management. Just like our current president, Ed Fletcher. So why would you choose somebody else to run the branch? But the thing about it is, although he makes the final decision, he talks about the situation or the issue, with the executive council, with the full-time officers, before he makes that decision. He always makes a decision which is based on what is best for the branch and for the members. So brothers and sisters, please submit the ballots. Please choose Ed Fletcher and re-elect him as the president of Branch 1111. Thank you. Before I end this video, I want to tell you one other thing. Branch 1111 recently had the Stewards Recognition in Berkeley. I think we had a great turnout. but I think it could be better next year. But did you know that Francisco was late, approximately about 2 hours? It started at 11. I was told that he didn't show up until almost 1 o'clock. So why would you claim and take credit for the steward's recognition, and then you show up 2 hours late to the event? I don't get that. That's neither here or there. What's more important is the fact that we had guest speakers from the concerned letter carriers. The national president candidate, James Henry, who I've known for a long time when I was at the DRT. We have the executive vice president candidate at the national level, Corey Walton. If you didn't know, Corey Walton has a podcast. It's called From A to Arbitration. Also, there was Kimitra Simpson-Lewis, candidate for national vice president. They were all invited for a reason, and that is we have to vote our current national president Renfro out of office because he did not do his job. The tentative agreement he presented to the members was shut down by the membership. And what did we get as our current contract for the national agreement? It's pretty much the same thing. That's why, brothers and sisters, in 2026, we must elect the right people. And that is the concerned letter carriers in their entire slate. I think I've said this before, but at the Boston National Convention, when charges were filed against Renfro, Ed Fletcher stood in front of all the delegates at that convention. I believe it was to have all the charges read and addressed by all the delegates, which is considered the supreme body. That was the first attempt to throw Renfro out of office, but unfortunately, it did not go our way. So Ed Fletcher is a big supporter of the concerned letter carriers, of James Henry, of Corey Walton, and the entire slate. All of us in Branch 1111, we support concerned letter carriers and their entire slate for the national election in 2026. I encourage you to visit their website, concernedlettercarriers.com. Be an endorser, be a supporter. You know, they have great merchandise on there, and all that will go towards our future as the NALC. All three speakers had great things to say, but something stuck out to me. It was Corey Walton's speech. It was a speech about his friend from school who was about to get into a fight. And Corey Walton received a call from this guy because he wanted him to be there. Because his friend knew he can rely on him, he can depend on him, and he'll be there for him. And then he referred to Ed as our president. And the message I got was, if I want to be anybody, I want to be that guy. The guy that Ed can depend on. The guy that Ed can rely on. The guy that Ed can call on and knows that I'll be there for him as president of Branch 1111. So brothers and sisters, I want to send you the same message that I received from Corey Walton himself. Be the guy who's going to be there for our president, Ed Fletcher, and vote for Ed Fletcher in this election. Thank you, and I hope to see you again on my next video.